What's up guys, xTkFx here bringing you guys a PO battle that I had. I've actually had quite a few of these recently and they've all been going really well. So a few things I just want to say before we get into the battle. I just want to say my channel exploded yesterday. Sam, if that had something to do with you, thank you. Otherwise, thank you guys for subscribing, that's awesome. One question I want to ask you guys before we start is, what do you think about Pokemon? Do you play it seriously or do you play it for fun? And if so, why? I mean, do you use serious teams or do you bring like Raticates to OU? Just let me know. Anyway, here's the battle. Let's go ahead and play it back. This was against Darky, I believe. So I'm going to lead with Aerofoon or Whimsicott. This was quite an old battle, I think. But anyway, I'm going to sub. He's going to go for the Hidden Power Fire, I presume, which is definitely not good for me. I definitely don't want to stay in and just waste HP subbing. So I'm going to make a switch now to my Politoed, who I know can take that. And I'm kind of thinking at the same time that he's not going to go for a Thunderbolt and that he's going to switch. But I'm also not too sure, so I might possibly switch myself. But he's going to bring in his Starmie here, as I do indeed switch into Rachi to take the Thunderbolt, which he doesn't go for. So he goes for a Surf and gets a crit. Now, right here, I was strongly considering just running because I know this team revolves so much around Rachi that the team just can't work without it. So I bring in my Ferrothorn anyway, decide to stick it out. He brings in Magnezone. This was kind of obvious, so I decide to Leech Seed on the switch. Now, the good thing is I know there is absolutely no way he can touch me. I have Protect, Leech Seed, Power Whip, and Spikes. And I'm actually bulky enough to be able to take this in the rain with the Leech Seed as well. So it only does 31%, which is fine. So I know I can outstall him, get Spikes up, and eventually force him to switch because he will die to Leech Seed, obviously. So I'm just going to stay in here, see how long it takes him to dip. I know he's obviously going to dip on one of my Protects, which is fine. I really don't mind, you know, as long as I keep getting this HP and getting all my Spikes up and stuff. So now he's going to bring in Scizor. Now, I'm going to Protect just to see what he wants to go. Oh, sorry, Protect on the switch. I'm probably going to Protect here again. Okay, he Sword Stances. I decide to go for a Leech Seed. I know from personal experience that this Ferrothorn can take any one hit from a Scizor except for a Banded Superpower. So, I kind of went out on a limb there. So I do get him seeded. He's at +4 now, but this is a great opportunity for me to bring in my Gliscor, because obviously he can't touch me no matter what. They usually carry Bug Bite, Superpower, Bullet Punch, Brick Break, all this kind of stuff. Nothing that's going to hurt Gliscor. So I'm just going to Earthquake here. Again, he's seeded. I can Protect. I have Poison Heal, so there's absolutely no way he's going to win this fight. He knows that, so he's going to go and switch out into his Starmie now, which I'm just going to Protect up to see what he wants to go for, see if he has that Ice Beam. He goes for Surf, telling me that he might not have the Ice Beam, although I have seen this before where Starmies bluff that. So I'm going to switch now into Politoed because I know I can take either the Surf or the Ice Beam, and here he does reveal that he does have Ice Beam, which is great. Now I know for future reference I can't leave my Gliscor in, especially seeing as the Surf would have been rain boosted and I wouldn't have been able to take it anyway. So I'm going to Protect here as he goes for the Thunderbolt just to see if he does have it, and he does. I know I can take one. I won't take it very well, but I know I can take one and I can get off a Toxic on the Starmie, which is great. Obviously he's most likely just going to switch out, but that doesn't really matter. I can just bring in Ferrothorn again, and that means I can seed him and stall him out. He's going to give the Rapid Spin here as I Protect myself. Unfortunately on this team I didn't ever get around to putting in a Spin Blocker on it, despite what Josh kept telling me. So I'm just going to bring in Gliscor now, as he actually goes for the Surf. Now, predictions, possibly. If it was, fair play to you. That was a good prediction. If not, you lucky bastard. Anyway, I'm going to bring in the Tentacruel now as he goes for the Rapid Spin. I bring in Tentacruel purely because I know that he's going to die this turn, and I can set up Toxic Spikes for free, and he won't be able to spin them away. So now he's going to bring Magnezone, and I have to make the call. Do I Toxic Spike and take the T-Bolt, or do I switch into Whimsicott, which can take it a lot better, obviously, because I'll resist it. He actually goes for the Volt Switch, as I do switch in Whimsicott, and he's going to switch out into his Heatran. Now, I see that his Heatran's on a balloon, and I really want to get a hit off on it to break that balloon, but unfortunately I'm going to be forced to switch, as I do not want to lose my Whimsicott just yet. So I'm going to go into Tentacruel, who will absorb that Fire Blast pretty damn nicely. It's only going to deal about 12% damage, and that's going to force him to switch into Swampert now. Not really sure what he was thinking I was going to go for. Probably the Water Stab, obviously. So I'm going to go for the Scald. Unfortunately, he's Toxic, so I'm not going to be able to get the burn on this Swampert. That means that I am going to be weak to that Earthquake. And I believe he's going to Stealth Rocks here. Now, I stayed in predicting him to predict me to predict the Earthquake, obviously. But I have no idea what I just said. I actually predicted him to over-predict him Rocks, which actually paid off for me because I got on my second layer Toxic Spikes. And I'm going to switch now, fearing the Earthquake, and he goes for the Roar. So I believe now I'm going to stay in and Scold, thinking that he's going to Roar again. And I believe he goes for the Earthquake, which is a very, very sly move on his part. Gets off 62% damage, which is actually quite a lot. So that worked out really well for him and really not so well for me. And I'm definitely going to have to switch if I want to keep this Tentacruel alive. Although I could protect and get some Black Sludge and Rain Dish, so that's cool. But now I'm going to have to switch. So I'm kind of thinking again that he's just going to roar, so I might as well just stay in. But at the same time, it's not worth risking my Tentacruel when he's on that lower HP. He's more likely to attack, which he does. So it's a very good job that I did switch to my Ferrothorn, who can take that Earthquake really, really well. Well, relatively, 25%. It's quarter HP, it's fine. It's fine. Now he's going to bring a Magnezone. We know that we can stall this out, so I'm just going to Leech Seed it. Obviously, I can protect then and get back some more HP from lefties, from Leech Seed, all of that good stuff. And I know that I can stay in, and he knows that too. So he's going to make a switch over to Heatran. I believe I predict this. No, I don't. I fail miserably and go for the Protect. What I should have done was Leech Seeded there, and that was kind of obvious, so that was a bad play by me. Anyway, I'm going to bring in Politoed now. No, I can take whatever he wants to go for. He decides to go for a Fire Blast. I'm really hoping that I'm going to be able to outspeed this Heatran and break its Bloom with a Scald. Unfortunately, he outspeeds me and is able to take me out with that Earth Power, which is really, really unfortunate. So I'm going to bring in Whimsicott now, hoping that I can do some trolling. I just go for the Encore to make sure that I lock him into a move that can't necessarily do that much damage to me. And it does less than a quarter HP, so I know that I can substitute if I want to, and he will be stuck into that. But I decide to get up that all-important Leech Seed first, as that will be gaining, I will be gaining quite a bit of HP from that. So now I can sub if I so wish, and I am going to on the switch, which is nice, because now I've got a substitute up. I'm free to go for a Leech Seed, which means I can, spike this Latios and really just crush its survivability. So I go for that Leech Seed. I do hit, which is nice. He's going to be able to break my substitute with a Surf, and I know from this range he will most likely be able to kill me off, seeing as he most likely is Specs. So I'm just going to set up another sub and see if he does decide to change up his moves, and he doesn't. So I am guessing at this point that he is Specs. So now I have to look at my team and think, what do I have to switch into a Specs Surf? I think I still have Ferrothorn left, which I'm not sure actually, but I go into Tentacruel anyway. Who's going to take that Surf really not that well. 29%, that does kind of tell me that he might be Specs, but then again, it is rain boosted, so it really is hard to tell whether it's Specs or not. But he does switch, which does lead me to believe he may be choiced in some way. So I'm just going to go for the Rapid Spin here as he brings in the Magnezone, kind of an obvious switch, free Rapid Spin, why not? So I'm going to be able to get that off, and now I'm going to switch again, fearing obviously the Electric Stab. I go into Ferrothorn here. I thought he was going to Volt Switch, but he actually goes for the Thunderbolt, which is fine. I can take either or. Unfortunately, at this point, a HP Fire would have actually taken me out with max damage. So if I was him, I would have stayed in. Unfortunately, he switched, for him. Fortunate for me. And I'm able to Leech Seed the Heatran on the way in. So that actually worked out really well for me. So now he's going to switch, obviously not wanting his Heatran to be seeded. He's going to go into Latios as I protect, which is really unfortunate. If I'd have seeded there, that would have been great, but not a risk that I was willing to take. So I'm going to protect here to scout, and he decides to lock himself into Draco. I know I can take one Draco, and I'm kind of debating whether to let Ferrothorn take it or Tentacruel take it. So I'm just going to stay in here with Ferrothorn, knowing that I can take one and set up a Leech Seed. Unfortunately for him, he switches into Heatran, maybe thinking that I was going to switch, but nope, there is absolutely no point in me switching when I do resist his stab, so I'm going to stay in. He goes for the Fire Blast as I protect, kind of obvious, and now it's getting to the crunch where he knows he's on the back foot, so he's going to have to start attacking me now. And he goes for the Fire Blast, obviously. I protect, so now I'm going to make the switch out into Tentacruel. Easy prediction for him, he should have Earth Powered. I really don't know why he didn't. It's not like it would have been a big loss. Ferrothorn couldn't have touched him anyway, so bad play on my opponent's part, just pointing that out. Now he goes for the Earth Power. If he'd have done that on the switch, he'd have been in a much better position, but he didn't. So I'm going to be able to get off a Scald here, and that will take out his Heatran. So yeah, it's these plays you kind of got to look out for. You do start to be a little bit rusty towards the end of the battle. But anyway, I'm going to protect here on this Latios to see what he wants to lock himself in on. He over-predicts and locks himself into Surf, which is kind of silly. No reason to be over-predicting at this point. He should have dropped a Draco. It probably would have 2-hit KO'd my Ferrothorn. Either way, he's going to make the switch into Magnezone now as I just go for the Scald. I will take that out, which is absolutely phenomenal. Oh, excuse me, guys. So, after that happens, Latios is going to come back in. This is his last poke. And at this point, I'm kind of thinking, yeah, I can just fodder off whatever and eventually bring in Ferrothorn. And he decides to lock himself into Thunderbolt, which is obviously not going to touch my Ferrothorn for days. So I'm just going to let him kill off my... no, I'm not. I'm just going to make a hard switch straight into Ferrothorn. And I believe he will run at this point. Because there's really nothing else he can do. I mean, given a few more turns, he's going to run. So here I believe I'm just going to Leech Seed, and then he'll run. Obviously, he can't do anything once he's seeded. He's choice locked into Thunderbolt. And I resist that, and I do have 3 pokes to PP stall him, even if he does manage to crit me or something, and he does know that, so eventually he will run once he sees well, there's no point, pretty much. So I do get powered here, which is unfortunate, but it is my life story at the same time. Either or, whichever way, he will run here, and that will be the game. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope you guys did enjoy this Wi-Fi battle. I love this team that I'm using. I have 3 versions of this team, 3 variations. One with a one with a Skarmory, one with a Bronzong, and one with a Whimsicott. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, feel free to leave a comment. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already. I can promise you guys some really fun content. And I'll catch you guys later.